Alright, so this is a suggestion via a donation. The name of the video is Nature Not Being Sober for 10 Minutes Straight. Let's check it out. This is coming from Casual Geographics, guys.
Here are animals that look dangerous, but actually aren't.
Okay.
This LSD crocodile is a gharial, and as a fish eater, it has zero interest in turning people into packs. And because they used to get hunted for their snout and skin, this acid trip water gecko is more afraid of us than we are of them. The goblin shark is a 13-foot hell guppy with a receding gum line that actually launches its jaw to catch prey. But they live at the bottom of the ocean, and they're way too lazy to be a threat to people if they didn't. They're blind, slow, and if looks could kill, they do Bundy numbers, but they're perfectly harmless. I know what you're thinking, but hear me out. Tarantulas are almost zero threat to people because not only are they much more afraid of you, their bite is no worse than a bee sting. To my knowledge, they've never erased a person, and the most dangerous thing about them is that they'll launch hairs at you if you get in their face. Other than that, they're one of those animals that look way worse than they really are.
But guys, I got stung by a bee one time. I almost literally ended up off of the census, in his words, right? Absolutely, I'm allergic to bees. So you say that a tarantula is no worse than a bee sting, bro. That's the worst thing that could exist, sir.
They'll launch hairs at you if you get in their face. Other than that, they're one of those animals that look way worse than they really are. And last is a shoebill stork. I'm not even going to pretend like I haven't slandered the life out of this Jurassic Muppet. But the truth is they're really friendly towards humans and will even let birdwatchers come right up to their nest without attacking them. And even though they look like a demonic hippogriff with the vocal cords of a machine gun, all you have to do is bow to earn their trust. For a bird that claps crocodiles for fun, this Devlite Tweety's just a feathery pup. Here are some animals that look dangerous but surprisingly aren't. The harpy eagle looks like a flying demon that feeds on the souls of the innocent, but they're not aggressive and friendly towards humans. Unlike most large raptors, the harpy will allow people to walk up to them while they're sitting on a perch. They're actually so unbothered by people that it makes them an easy target for hunters, which is why we can't have nice things. It won't take your soul, even if you probably deserve it. At over 200 pounds, the mountain lion is a steroid with whiskers. But the same animal that'll step to bears and moose actually wants zero smoke with people, and they don't need a pandemic to social distance. Look at this video and tell me I'm wrong. Cougars will actually run away at the sound of human voices, proving that cougars aren't a threat unless it's happy hour. This snake may look
or unless you get next to one of the babies.
Venomous, but the milk snake is...
Because I've seen so many videos of people just like having to, pull out a firearm, and just be like, no, firing to the side of it, trying not to, delete it, obviously, but, And that animal was absolutely trying to dismantle the human, bro.
It's 100% harmless. When threatened, they would much rather run away. They only look dangerous because they wear the same gang colors as a coral snake, which actually will put you on a t-shirt. Next is a paralysis demon with frequent fall.
I'm sorry, but if I see a snake, I'm not going to be able to look at it and tell the difference between that one and another one that may be more... vicious, let's say, in terms of its venom. I definitely would not be able to tell a difference. It just wouldn't be a thing. I would just have to get away from that area, regardless. Big snake, little snake, any snake.
Flyer miles to Andean condor. As a scavenger with a weak beak and even weaker claws, they feed on the dead because they want no smoke with the living. No matter how ugly this flying testicle gets, it'll never attack a human. They're just out here minding their own business. You want to know how I know for a fact nature has a messed up sense of humor? This Australian teddy bear has the vocal cords of Satan with acid reflux and a dying Honda Civic. Don't know what I was expecting, but it was never this, and I can only imagine the first person to ever hear this helped a therapist retire early. And now we have the fastest land mammal on Earth, the cheetah, which I would take seriously if they didn't sound like this. Unless this cheetah managed to switch souls with Tweety, this logistically makes...
Bro, this image, regardless of how terrifying it is, imagine what had to happen for it to look like this, but it isn't. It is a wildly beautiful image to look at, guys.
No sense. Obviously,
it looks obviously whatever happened was terrible, but maybe not for the sake of the cheetah here. He ate, obviously, but I do think that it's super aesthetic, guys.
Nature did not want cheetahs to win. Next, we get the Cory Bustard. And if nature wasn't on crack, you'd expect it to sound like a goose. Instead, it sounds like it should be running fades with plumbers and kidnapping dumb blondes. Did I mention this Jurassic reject can fly? Finally, we have the elk, and I think I just gave every hunter watching this a semi. But it sounds like a kitchen door when you're trying to sneak ice cream at 3 a.m. Just wait, it'll make sense. Animals whose voices convincing nature one big practical joke. I am willing to bet any amount of money, under $3, that you thought the bird that represents the United States of America has a shrieking, majestic call at the beginning of every Western movie. What they really sound like is a seagull with laryngitis choking on a Popeye's biscuit. No, it
Yeah,
actually
I
makes
think we
sense
need
they
another
represent
bird,
America.
guys.
They're intimidating until they open their mouth and you realize they're a mess inside. Next is the fairy penguin, the smallest penguin in the world at a foot tall and
That's
3
right.
pounds. But if you think this flipper Tweety sounds like a normal bird, you're giving nature way too much credit. I don't care how cute you think they are, hearing that at 3 a.m. would bring the hood out of Buddha. Jurassic Park fans, remember these guys? The Velociraptor sounds were actually turtles having sex, so next time you rewatch it, just know you're getting the audio file of Franklin the Turtle's hub debut.
Damn, son.
5 animals you've probably gone your entire life without seeing. First, we got the Mata Mata, the turtle with more neck than Tiana Trump. They're native to the wetlands of South America, primarily the Amazon, and they have a smile that belongs in the sex offender yearbook next to Subway Jerry. Next is a sparkle muffin, yeah, that's its name. They can jump up to 50 times their own body length, and that'd be like a 6-foot man yeeting him.
Guys, his jokes are just, listen, they come out of nowhere. He seems to talk about things that you just generally don't think that he's going to be talking about randomly while talking about animals, guys. That Mata Mata definitely, most likely, does have, no. Tiana Trump definitely has more neck, bro. All right. But either way.
Muffin, yeah, that's its name. They can jump up to 50 times their own body length, and that'd be like a 6-foot man yeeting himself over the Statue of Liberty in the name of freedom. They also have an interesting mating dance that makes them look drunk. Next, we have the greater lofarino, a bird of paradise found in New Guinea, but they're also one acid trip away from showing up in your living room. Take one look at this and tell me it isn't a paralysis demon with drip. Those bright colors actually help it attract mates. This is a jabiru stork, and it's been known to try to gouge people's eyes out. They're 5 feet tall with an 8-foot wingspan, and they've been known to eat anything from rats to fish to dead animals.
Well,
Their
that's
neck
fun.
looks like an aroused horse penis because they're adapted to eating fish, and having a neck that looks like a phallus allows it to filter them out from the water. And last, we have the armadillo lizard, native to South Africa. This Pokemon rolls into a ball when it's afraid, and they can live in groups of up to 16 members, and maybe they'd be intimidating if they weren't only 3 inches long. If you didn't know at least 3 of these, you gotta follow me on Instagram. That's your
Bro, I didn't know any of them.
tuition. Here are some facts you didn't know about the friendliest animal in the world. This roid rodent is a capybara, and it's a close relative of the guinea pig and a distant cousin of the chinchilla. They're natural extroverts that can hang out in groups of up to 100 led by an alpha male. So chill that a group of capybara is called a meditation. Capybara can do the dash at 22 miles per hour, and for reference, Usain Bolt's top speed was about 27. They're great swimmers, and they're so comfortable in water they've been known to fall asleep while floating. They have webbed feet that helps them Phelps their way out of trouble. And fun fact, they only make love in the water. They some big boys that can weigh up to 200 pounds and are the largest rodents on Earth. They're basically guinea pigs on juice. They eat their own poop so they can get the most out of their fiber diet by digesting it twice. The female is pregnant for 4 to 5 months and she'll give birth to about 4 pups, and I'm only telling you that because I want an excuse to show you this picture. Also, if a female doesn't want to hook up with a male, she'll hide by submerging herself in the water until he gets the hint. They've also been known to go into a trance if you rub their belly, and because you think I'm lying, watch this. The friendliest animals in the world, nobody knows why, but we can all agree the vibes are immaculate. Things animals do that should honestly be against the law. The naked mole rat queen is the only female allowed to get laid in her kingdom, and she'll assault any females that show any signs of sexual activity. But the sus part is that she'll mate with a few of her sons to keep the population as inbred as possible. She'll even release a chemical that prevents the other mole rats from reaching puberty just so she can have her sons all to herself. Jail. Koalas can't eat eucalyptus without a special gut bacteria to help them digest it. The only way for the joey to get it is by nuzzling up to the mother's 69-no wrapper and eating a green paste that comes out. For a month, this potty jockey will eat his mother's backdoor fudge, and at this moment, koalas weren't cute to me anymore. Hippos will projectile launch their backdoor business by twirling their tail like a propeller. It goes both ways because if Glory is interested, she'll return the favor by dropping a deuce on Motomoto's head. I don't kink shame, but I draw the line right there. Jail.
Right.
And somehow we get to sea otters again. If he can't find a female, he'll settle for anything roughly the same size, and that's usually a baby seal. Because there's no Chris Hansen for seals, he'll force himself on the underage pup while biting its face. If the baby seal dies, this furry psychopath will mate with the dead body for up to a week like the sex-crazed sea weasel he is. Jail life sentence. Today was Women's Day, so in honor of all the beautiful queens out there, here's some animals where the women kick the men's ass. Meerkats live in a female-dominated society where the alpha will personally abort any babies that aren't hers and banish her subordinates for having children and make sure the only seeds get planted in her garden. Female clownfish are bigger and more aggressive and basically the husband's bodyguard, which is why if she dies, the male will put on weight and transition for the other team. In ringtail lemur culture, every adult female outranks every male because they can't spell equality. Females assert their dominance by bullying the males and snatching food from them. Naked mole rats are run by a queen who runs her kingdom by using urine that basically mind controls her subjects. This royal tunneling testicle is kept constantly pregnant by a few of her sons, which is problematic and why they're extremely inbred. She's also the only one allowed to get laid, so she finds out one of her subjects are sexually active, she'll personally beat the sexual urges out of them. Orcas also run on feminism. The oldest, wisest female orca is always the leader of the pod. Hyenas are feminism on steroids because they'll beat and bully males and only let them eat whatever scraps are left behind. It's so bad that the instant a female cub is born, she instantly outranks the oldest male. They took KAM to heart because there are no male whiptail lizards alive, they all got rocked by the left hand of Thanos. This is why chihuahuas are aggressive, and it's actually our fault. First of all, it's common in nature for smaller animals to use overt aggressiveness and irrational confidence as a defense, and the best example is the honey badger. This behavior is also seen in desert gobies going after larger males, finches going after eagles and crows, and cougars going after bears. It's possible smaller dogs have a built-in Napoleon complex that makes them act out in fear, which makes sense because when they're that small, basically everything's a threat. The problem is we enable dogs like Chihuahuas to act like the spawn of Satan. Because if a pit bull or a Rottweiler acted like that, they would get put down because they're capable of much more damage, which is how aggressiveness got bred out of most large dog breeds. Small dogs like Chihuahuas get away with this because as hellish as they are, we never have to worry about them putting their owner on a newspaper. Also, most people are really protective of small dogs, and because they're so sheltered, they end up finding everything scary because they weren't introduced to it, which makes them select violence.
And this is why, personally, I would never own a small dog, ever. I have 2 South African Boer bulls. They both weigh, close to like 150 to 200 pounds or so. No small dogs ever. I can't deal with them. All that bark for no reason is probably the most annoying thing that I could imagine. For me personally, I would never own a dog less than 100 pounds.
Most of the time when a Chihuahua is being an op, it's doing it out of fear. On top of that, a lot of owners think the Chihuahua being a menace to society is cute and they won't correct the behavior, and sometimes they even encourage it. Long story short, Chihuahuas have little man syndrome, they have short person privilege, and it's all your fault. Nick Fox facts that nobody ever told you, but I will. They almost never need to drink water because they get all the water they need from the fruits, leaves, and roots they eat. Because of this, they'll sometimes refuse to drink water out of a bowl. They're horrible pets because they scream to communicate, they pee everywhere to mark their territory, and because their urine is super concentrated, it'll smell like your whole house took a golden shower. Unlike most foxes, they mate for life and they can live in small communities of about 10. They basically live in underground apartments because the different family dens will be connected to each other. The fennec fox avoids overheating by losing a lot of heat through those Yoda ears. They also have furry paws to protect them from the blistering desert sand. They can purr just like house cats. They may be cute, but they can clap scorpions and they can take down animals bigger than they are, like a full-grown rabbit. Remember when I said you wouldn't want them as a pet? Because they're mostly nocturnal, this is what you would hear at 3 a.m.
And what's funny is, guys, so I first heard of these animals through watching him. And I was like, listen, I think I want one of these foxes. No more.
At about 3 pounds, they weigh less than most Chihuahuas. They're so different from the rest of their family that people used to legitimately debate if they were actually foxes. They're just cats in dog bodies that look innocent until you see what their skull looks like. First, we have the 2-fingered sloth because they're cute and they look like they honestly deserve the world. But give them an x-ray and they suddenly deserve holy water and a baptism because there's no reason a sloth should be able to hole punch a human hand. Those teeth rub up against each other and sharpen themselves, which is why a sloth doesn't have to be a magician to make your hand see-through. Next, we have the sea otter. It's one of those animals that can be mistaken for a plush toy if it does the mannequin challenge. Yo, the mannequin challenge was over 4 years ago. Damn. Yeah, sea otters are cute until you find out what's behind that baby face. Just like their cousin the wolverine, otters have a nasty bite. And they will not hesitate to use this vice grip on you. This man Terry Nutkins learned that the violent way when an angry otter made him go to bed with less fingers than he woke up with. The peccary is an innocent-looking pig-like mammal. Its headpiece tells a very different story. The story of an animal capable of catching a murder charge with those tusks if it feels like turning up on you. There's a reason hunting them is an extreme sport. I love you, no question. This is fun. True beauty lies within. Unless you're an elephant, because they got a whole cyclops in there.
Right. Guys, the one that, for me, just basically made me double think, obviously the eagle. I would think that if it was to represent our country, right, it would probably be more, I don't know, ferocious sounding, right? Strong, represent strength or something, but that didn't work. Guys, what's the one that was doing that craziness, bro? Definitely the female mole rat, bro. That's nasty. All right, that's nasty. I definitely didn't know that baby koalas just basically, were bottom feeders. I did not know that. That's weird, right? Jail, as he said. Listen, let me know in the comments of the next one of these from him that I should be checking out, and I will get into that as soon as I possibly can. All right. Listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day and enjoy your day thoroughly.